The T-62A is the do-it-all medium tank. It's got a fantastic gun with some of the best accuracy, on-movement dispersion, and DPM in Tier 10 with 3,500 DPM, a gun that has 310 damage per shot, which isn't great for every scenario. Obviously, less damage per shot means that you will be out-traded, but at the same time, if you receive a shell from somebody that has higher alpha, the fact that you have such a quick reload means that you can shoot them 2 times for normally the 1 time you get shot. So it's great on pumping shells into enemy opponents. It's got 7 degrees of gun depression and a very sturdy turret that can even shrug off some very high penetration shells in Tier 10. The 62A is definitely one of the best all-round mediums in the game, and I would definitely say it is a better vehicle than the Object 140 in most cases, but there are certain situations where the Object 140 is better, and that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, for the most part, the 140 is a worse tank. The main reason why is down to its turret armor. If the Object 140 actually had decent turret armor, it would be a very, very solid medium tank. Just right now, the 140 has the issue that if you poke anybody that has a brain cell, they can just shoot the roof of the tank or load premium and pen it quite easily on the turret itself. And yeah, you fall apart very quickly. However, most people don't have brain cells when it comes to Blitz, and because of that, I actually find that the 140 can sometimes be a lot more reliable than the 62A. So let's break into the advantages and disadvantages between these vehicles. Now, let's start off with the disadvantages. We already went over the turret armor, and the second one is gun depression. This vehicle does have worse gun depression, but it also has worse dispersion. It's sitting at 0.317 instead of the 62A's like, what, 0.272? Yeah, it's absolutely insane on the 62A for dispersion. This vehicle also has better on-movement dispersion, so yeah, the 62A's gun is all around more accurate. However, it does not shoot AP ammunition, it shoots APCR, which means it has much worse shell penetration over distance, and as well, it auto-ricochets off of a lot more angles, it doesn't have shell normalization, so AP is definitely a better round over APCR, and I will choose it every day of the week, so I can definitely say that you have a lot of advantages with the AP ammunition on the Object 140, and it's not like the gun's inaccurate, it's just not nearly as accurate as the 62A's gun. Mobility, the Object 140 outright wins. It goes 56 or 55 kilometers per hour forward instead of the 50 that the 62A goes. And then we break into the hull armor. Now, while the 62A may better have turret armor, or kind of botch that, but may have better turret armor, the 62A does not have better hull armor. If we look at the frontal armor, the 62A sits at 192 on flat ground, and fully hull down, the 62A sits at around 230. If we use the Object 140 on flat ground, it's about 240 millimeters thick, and using the 6 degrees of gun depression, it's upwards of 300 millimeters. That is a big difference on armor, and that can mean the difference from bouncing shells and penetrating shells, because the difference here is I'm actually using heat shells on the Object 140. So you'll notice that it does ricochet when you're aiming at the Object 140's upper plate compared to the 62A's. This is AP ammunition. They just don't bounce. So there is a massive armor difference, 224 compared to 300 millimeters, as I just showed you. That is a huge difference on armor. As well, the Object 140 has angled side armor. You can see that here. Now, what that means is that if you actually shoot at this vehicle, even at an angle like this, it will auto-ricochet right off the side and go into the dirt. Let's compare that to the T-62A. Yeah, it doesn't really have that. Like, sure, there's a teeny bit of a troll spot there, but let's be honest, you just shoot the hull and you pen it every time, or the track wheel. The Object 140, it has that troll armor all over the side of it, and it's got some pretty decent side armor as well, you can see. It's not bad at all, so yeah, Object 140 definitely wins on the hull armor, the side armor. It's really just the turret armor that lets it down. Sure, it looks very red when you're using standard ammunition, but when you load heat, yeah, it's only about 250 thick. It does have some spots that are troll for mediums, but for the most part, you just shoot right next to the gun. If you compare this to like a 62A's turret armor, you'll definitely see that 62A has definitely more sturdy turret armor for the most part, but it's not like it's impervious. You can definitely pen it on the cheeks quite easily, as you can see. So yeah, I definitely think that overall, the 140 has a lot of advantages over the 62A that people don't really know too much about. and I wouldn't put it past you to actually not grind this vehicle over the 62A. So now what we're going to do is let's break into 2 replays. Now these aren't insane replays. This is just, you know, run-of-the-mill gameplay for the Object 140. I played 11 games in it yesterday and won every single battle. It was kind of insane. I normally don't get that long of a streak, but I just stopped playing after that. So I just had a 100% win rate. I was like, oh mama. So yeah, yesterday was a lucky day, although I know with my luck that after I get those 11 wins, I'll get 22 defeats in a row. So we all know how it goes. Either way, what does the enemy team have? They got a 60 TP, they got a Bashation 25 ton, E100, Grill 15, T110E4, 57 heavy, and a TVP 5051. Now, I'll be honest, the enemy team has a lot of mess-ups, but our team does too, and I'm going to try as much as I can to profit off of those mess-ups. There we go, 57 spotted, and easy snap right into his turret. You can see this still has that very nice Russian accuracy where you can snap shells. It's kind of weird how the Russian mediums, like the T22, Object 140, and 62A have great accuracy, but then you also have vehicles like the IS-4, IS-7, and Object 263, which have absolutely terrible accuracy. It's kind of weird how that works out, right? Now I'm going to purposely aim at a shell in that Grill 15's track wheel. That's going to give me some assistance damage. I'm going to shoot his track wheel again. And there you go. We just got ourselves 1,042 assistance damage. I always go for Grill track wheels. They're very easy to hit. And wow, we got really unlucky there, didn't we? I didn't know if that was going to hit me, but I guess it really didn't matter all too much because I needed to get away anyway from that 60 TP that was coming up behind me. Easy snap into the rear of that E100, and we are getting the heck away. Alright, so we're already up to 1,500 damage, which is nice. Unfortunately, they have flanked my Sheridan, and yeah, my Sheridan at 180 health is not going to do much to help out my team. I was thinking maybe I could shoot a shell into the 60 TP, but nah, it's not really worth it to try and get a shell in when I'm just going to bleed health. So instead, I'm going to push up towards mid. We got the 60 TP over here. I'm hoping that he's not going to snap me, but he's just looking right there. So yeah, again, another big ol' slap into my vehicle. With that, we are already down to 800 health. Yeah, that's not super fun. But we also got the bat chat, and this is where your quick reload and high DPM feels very, very nice. I got 1 shell in, there's 2 shells in, and because the Bashation is shooting AP ammunition, I'm able to bounce some shots. So there you go, that's brought us up to 2,400 damage in this game, and we've even gotten a decent chunk of block damage, at least from the bat chat. Oh, there he goes again, another easy shell into his vehicle, and a ricochet right on our upper plate, even with a heat shell, because as I said, the upper plate is not bad on this vehicle if you can actually get some decent angles. So we're up to 2,800 damage now, and oh boy, that TVP, I'd see him coming from a mile away. He's pulling around the corner. I was telling Space, I was like, you might want to turn around from this TVP. He was worried about that D100, and unfortunately, he kind of nudged me back there, but oh well, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to push over, see if I can get some shots into the TVP. We also got the Bashation, but this guy, yeah, I don't know what he's doing. I got a nice tracking shell into his vehicle, and that just completely stops any maneuver he was trying to do. Let's get another shell into his tank, and with that, now we're up to 2,200 assistance damage because of that tracking shell. It is really nice to be able to have a quick reload and track opponents with a very accurate gun. Obviously, I do not want this TVP to reload his clip. Didn't know if he had shells, but I didn't want him to do it anyway, and look at that. We got really lucky that the E100 was not able to get a shell into us, and that shell was not very lucky, although I didn't expect that to penetrate anyway. So what do we have left? Well, I'm up to 3,400 damage, which is not bad at all, but we still got a lot of opponents left, and they're at 800 on the base capture, because that E100, as we saw, captured base B very early on. So what I'm going to do right now is try not to get spotted, come up behind the 60 TP, especially because he just got slappered by that E100. That's great. What that means is if I can clear the 60 TP, we will have a pretty decent chance of winning this. Here I go, speed. Oh, wow, 60 TP just absolutely demolished him. Well, good news. I don't even need to deal with him. That's going to set back their base capture just a little bit. Now I've got the rear of the E100. Nice snap into the rear of his tank. That's going to put him in a crossfire that he really can't afford to deal with. So that's going to be the end of the E100. And while that's going on, I'm going to also aim it on the E4. Aiming and fire. There you go. Beautiful slap finishing him off, which now gives Space the opportunity to push up on the E100, and hopefully that guy is going to be cleared. There you go. E100 gets taken out. I'm capturing the base, and that's that. That is a GG, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, sure, they're up to 905 on the base capture, but I have enough health. The Bat Chat only has, I think, 260 health left, so I've got plenty of health to use, and yeah, there's the Bat Chat, 250 health, and boom, easy slap right into his turret. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you win a game. Not only did we win that battle, but we got 2,000 assistance damage, so 6,000 combined, and we were able to pull out a mastery. Now, could the 62A have done what I did there? Yeah, it definitely could have. In fact, a lot of those situations there were pretty easy to do in a 62A. But the big thing that you want to take away is the mobility I was able to use in this battle. I was able to get to that 60 TP, then get in the base capture, shoot the E100, get the T110E4 quick enough to come out with a victory. But I'll be honest, if I was in a 62A, I don't think I would have won that battle. The amount of mobility I used there makes quite a big difference. Sure, 6 kilometers per hour may not sound like a lot on a little bit of terrain, but if you're using that over a minute of driving, that's going to make a huge difference. I doubt I would have been able to shoot that E4, and if that E4 had been able to survive just a bit longer, and that 60 TP had been able to survive a bit longer, that definitely could have been a loss. Due to the fact of them having base capture, I might not have been able to get that bat chat, or other things like that. So I definitely think that the 140 was the reason why I won that battle over, let's say, a 62A, but you obviously can't be for certain. Now this battle, obviously, the 62A would have had a much harder time climbing that hill because it's not the fastest of tanks, as we just went over. So I was able to actually climb this hill in a vehicle like the Object 140 quite easy. That shell was just a lucky shot I was hoping might hit him, but oh well, we're already up to 576 damage, and we've actually been able to bleed that Progetto off the hill. Easy shot into the yo, and look at that, armor again on the 140, doing exactly what it's meant to. Trying to get a shell into that Chieftain, but I just don't have enough gun depression. If I wasn't a 62A there, I definitely would have been able to get that shell out. So yeah, that's one of the downsides. I do not understand why Wargaming gave the 62A 7 degrees of gun depression. I feel like this tank should have gotten that over the 62A, but oh well, that's just how I see it. Now right now, what do we have? Well, we got all the heavies over towards one side of the map, and over here, I know where their TDs are. I mean, they have 3 tank destroyers, and there's one of them, weirdly enough. Now, I spotted the TD, but he didn't spot me, and it must have been the way that he just kind of like squeezed into that building there. So what I was thinking is, well, he's obviously not facing towards me, because why would he be? So I'm going to go up behind him, and I also see him shoot, which means now this is just a free climb behind him. So there you go. I squeeze my booty behind his vehicle, and yeah, let's just say he didn't enjoy this all too much. So there's 1, 2, 3, whatever. We're just completely destroying his day, shooting HE shells, although it doesn't really make a difference if I shoot HE, just a little bit to add salt into his wounds. And he's turning. Oh, that's a real shame. Oh no, what will I do? So there goes the 4005, and with that, we're up to 2200 damage. Obviously, jumping off of that hill is a risky decision because once you get off the hill, you definitely give up a lot of the high ground that your team has, but because my 60 TP was up on that hill, I figured might as well get off, clear that 4005. It's a very deadly opponent, don't want to deal with him later. So yeah, now we got the Progetto over here, and I don't really know what the Progetto was doing because that was a decent player, but he just kind of died, so oh well, I'll take it. We got the 183 off to the side, easy shot into his tank as well, and the 183 is completely demolished by the Hori that was sitting off to the side. Nice shot from the Hori. With that, we're now up to 2900 damage. I'm going to try and come up towards the 57 heavy. We also got the Mark 6 and the Object 263. So let's see exactly what we can do here. Speed going 55, go, and easy shell into the 57 heavy turret. As troll as that turret can be, as long as it's not looking at you, it's a pretty easy shot. The thing I'll say about the 140 and the gameplay you'll see me using it is I just pick and choose the gameplay I play. And obviously that sounds kind of obvious, but the way I mean by that is when I use an Object 140, I don't play it like a 62A. The 62, you can quite comfortably sit in front of tanks, especially mediums, and not be penetrated for the most part in your turret. The Object 140, you know that you're going to be penetrated in your turret. So instead of brawling with the mediums a normal conventional way, I use my mobility, and I use the tank's really strong gun, wait for them to turn their turret or make a mistake, and then I pepper them. That is what I love to do in the Object 140, and these are just 2 out of the, as I said, 11 battles that I won in the tank. So yeah, I really like the 140. It can be a fantastic vehicle. I definitely think that it is a competitor to the 62A, while I do think the 62A is better overall because it has so many upsides other than downsides. I still think that the 140 is a fantastic vehicle, and don't think that it's not worth the grind if you already have the 62A, because it definitely is. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye!